wake up thinking you're fine, thinking your mind is sharp, your focus is steady, your habits are harmless. But let me pull you into something quieter, something most people never question. What if the things you do without thinking, the scrolling, the talking, the rushing, the avoiding, are slowly dimming the light inside your mind? Not suddenly, not dramatically. Just a slow fading, so subtle you don't notice until thinking feels heavier than it used to. And here's the twist. You don't lose intelligence because of some big mistake. You lose it through tiny choices that feel normal, comfortable, even reasonable. Choices that blend into your day until they quietly shape how your brain works. Let me show you what I mean. Because once you see it, you can't unsee it. Look at the way you chase distractions. You tell yourself it's harmless, a quick check, a small scroll. But you never stop being small, do you? 5 minutes turns into 10, then 20. Then the whole moment is gone. And inside that moment, your brain learned something dangerous. Silence is uncomfortable. Boredom is pain. Thinking deeply isn't worth it. You don't say those words out loud, but your brain feels them every time you reach for stimulation before your thoughts even begin to form. And here's the contrast you never consider. Boredom is where intelligence grows. Those empty seconds, the ones you run from, are where ideas collide. That's where your mind stretches, explores, wanders. When every dull moment gets filled with noise, you lose the ability to drift into deeper thought. You lose the spark that happens only when your mind finally slows down. The great thinkers weren't different because they were born smarter. They were different because they let their minds breathe long enough to think deeply. So the next time you stand in line, or walk alone, or sit with a quiet minute, resist the itch to escape. Let the silence stay. Let the silence stay. That's you lifting a weight your mind has been too weak to touch. Now let's shift. Think about the way you speak. Or more, honestly, the way you dominate conversations without realizing it. You jump in fast. You cut people off. You rush to defend your opinion before the other person even finishes. And you tell yourself it's confidence or passion or just the way you talk. But that's not what's happening. When you talk more than you listen, you shut the door on new information. You decide the world has nothing left to teach you. You forget that every person carries a piece of knowledge you don't have. Even the ones you disagree with. Even the ones you underestimate. Intelligent people understand this. They stay quiet long enough to hear something useful. They're not collecting wins in conversation, they're collecting insights. They're absorbing. Observing. Connecting patterns that loud people never notice. And here's the painful truth, talking too much doesn't make you smart. The it makes you blind. Listening is what expands your mind. Listening is what sharpens your awareness. Listening is what protects you from the trap of your own ego. So next time you're in a conversation, pause before speaking. Ask questions. Let someone else finish their thought. You're not trying to sound intelligent. You're trying to become intelligent. Now comes the part most people avoid. The moment you feel dumb. You know that feeling, the confusion, the frustration, the embarrassment when something is harder than you expected. Most people run from that feeling. They quit the book. They close the tutorial. They abandon the new skill. Not because they're lazy, but because they're terrified of looking stupid. But that fear is the real thief. It steals the very moment your brain needs to grow. Intelligence isn't built in comfort. It's built when something challenges you so deeply that your mind has no choice but to stretch. When you avoid difficulty, your brain stops pushing. It gets softer, slower, less adaptable. Meanwhile, the people you admire, the ones who learn fast, build skills, solve problems, aren't naturally gifted. They're just willing to feel dumb for longer than you are. They treat struggle as training. Confusion as a sign they're leveling up. Failure as proof they're climbing. So the next time something makes you feel small, let that feeling happen. Lean in. Don't run. That's your brain waking up. There's another habit, quieter but more dangerous than all the rest, the belief that you already know enough. It shows up as pride, or fake confidence, or the subtle assumption that you've figured out life more than other people. And when that belief settles in, growth stops. Curiosity dies. You stop reading deeply. You rely on shortcuts. You cling to opinions instead of exploring truths. And little by little, your mind narrows. Your ideas stiffen. Your perspective freezes. But look at the truly intelligent people. They're not certain they're curious. They question their own beliefs. They reshape their opinions when new information appears. They stay open, flexible, and humble. That humility keeps their mind alive. And here's a question you should ask yourself honestly. When was the last time you changed your mind about something important? If you can't remember, it's not because you've reached the truth. It's because you've stopped searching for it. So let's pull it all together. Intelligence doesn't disappear overnight. It erodes through habits that numb your thinking. Distraction weakens focus. Talking too much blocks learning. Avoiding difficulty kills growth. Pride shuts the door on curiosity. Break even one of these patterns, and your intelligence will rise not because you force it to, but because you stop suffocating it. Being intelligent isn't about knowing everything. It's about staying awake, staying curious, staying disciplined enough to keep learning even when it's uncomfortable. If this made you pause for a moment, don't scroll yet. Think about which habit pulls you down the most. Hold that awareness. And if you want more conversations like this, more clarity, more depth, more growth, you know what to do. Hit like, subscribe, and keep walking this path with me. Stay strong, stay clear, and keep growing.